¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. Welcome, everybody. We do have a few things to go through today. Might be a today we'll try to run the stream on point and try to end on target. Cosmic Seeking, how's it going? Got to make sure we got everything going. All right. I've been watching the travesty at the Tennessee House. It's nonsense. The fact of the matter is, like, this is just a chance of, like, the Republican Party essentially trying to use whatever excuse to destroy like any opposition. I mean, like, so basically the premise of this whole thing is that there was a protest. There was an anti-gun protest or whatever. There was essentially lawmakers, and there are still like people protesting for literally any type of legislation, anything, literally any solution to be done. And three of these Democratic lawmakers were protesting in the state house, and effectively Republicans used that opportunity to expel them. Yes, that's right. They've expelled one or two to go. And what that means is that essentially they will be removed. They will be removed from their position for the crime of protesting and being in opposition. Yeah. Yeah, it was the three Democratic state houses. Maple Leaf Dragon, how's it going? Good evening. I'm messed up in the head today. I slept for 16 hours. Not sure why, but I guess I needed it. Wow. 16 hours? Sheesh. The GOP says only my party and view matters. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, this is again... this is again like between like the actions that like they took at the Democratic the Tennessee State House, between those actions and like the fact that like this isn't just like contained to like, oh, the GOP was big mad, so that's what they did. Nah, it's more than that. It's that they're fundamentally incompatible with democracy, period. Alio, thank you so much for the 11 biddies. I appreciate that. I've been watching the worst kind of kangaroo court. I mean, it's bullshit. They're just taking advantage of the procedures in place to eliminate any opposition. It's the same concept. The same concept that the Republican Party is trying to do in Florida. This is not contained to just this. This is not contained to just like some fringe elements of the Republican Party. This is the Republican Party. You have not talked about the SCOTUS Clarence Thomas benefits of luxury. Oh no, we'll get to that. That's definitely on the list. That is definitely on the list. I hope this resounds all around America and the world. I mean, like, it is getting national attention. It certainly is getting national attention because, like, effectively, if there isn't like significant pushback to this, effectively what this means is like, yeah, dude, if I don't like the opposition party and I've got a super majority, then I should just start expelling them. Why do I need them there? It's a societal degradation of self-awareness, compassion, empathy, and the continuous influx of fear. I think fear from the media sources are supposed to keep us informed. I think that there's definitely some element of that. I think that there's some element of that for sure. I mean, like if you watch like a lot of conservative media, it's all about fear. It's all. I mean, like look at Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is like basically not just like white power hour every afternoon or every show, but it's like, what are you supposed to be afraid of today? As many city and state workers, even unpaid who cannot take any gifts under $55 ever, but Congress and SCOTUS. Oh, yeah, I know. It's corruption, that's for sure. And it's not just unique to just like one politician or another. They wouldn't be doing this if they weren't afraid. Fearful people cling to the source of perceived power. Yep. I don't know about Jim Crow, but certainly it is concerning. Yeah, I mean, that's the point, right? Maple. That's exactly it. Well, folks, we've got a couple. Well, we'll start. I guess, um, with one clip. This is actually from the Discord. Um, this is actually from the Discord. Mono posted it about what's going on in France. So I think this is not all that common, but it's worth pointing out. Or rather, it's worth putting some attention on this. Conservatives used to be the stalwart and courageous people. I mean, when? I guess would be the question. I could see the white sheets 40 plus years ago. Maybe, I don't know about that. If we go 40 plus years ago, 20, I don't know. I wouldn't call like the 80s and like the Reagan kind of deal. I don't know if that's what I would go to be quite frank. I mean, how long ago was 40 years ago? It'd be 2000. That was like the downfall. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's just hard to like think back and like point to a time in history where conservatism was like useful, or when conservatism wasn't pernicious. I mean, like even like the more, I guess like the more. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt was a little bit more progressive, and like Teddy Roosevelt was at least, very pro worker. It seemed, so much so that he was basically kicked out of the Republican Party. He was pushed out and had to run as an independent. So I mean, I just don't know like when conservatism wasn't pernicious. I mean, the moment you start talking like or getting a little bit closer to talking about like workers' rights and things like that, they push you out. So I don't know. Just seems kind of weird. And like, yeah, 40 years ago was like, you know, the 80s, and like, yeah, I don't know about that. I've seen docs talk about the right wing brainwashing people in '67 through talk radio. Yeah, I mean, they still kind of hold that little section. I remember Martin Luther King Jr. That wasn't that long ago, by the way. People think that that's some like part of like ancient history. That wasn't that long ago. The boomers could have pushed for progressivism, but they got lazy, greedy, and self-absorbed. Yeah. Teddy just didn't get the nomination in 1912, so he formed the Progressive Party to run for president. Right, because if I remember correctly, the They were shitting on him. That's why. I don't know. I could be wrong. He rejoined the Republican Party in 1960. Gotcha. Yeah, like even in like the kind of summary from Wikipedia, Roosevelt grew frustrated from Taft's conservatism and belated tried to win the 1912 Republican nomination for president. He failed, walked out, and founded the New Progressive Party. He ran in the 1912 presidential election, and the split allowed the Democratic nominee to win the election. Following the defeat, Roosevelt led a 2-year expedition into the Amazon basin. Okay, so that's where he went to do his Rough Rider shit or whatever. Roosevelt was in a wheelchair? No, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, okay. The Rough Riders was in Cuba during the Spanish-American War. Yes. FDR was in the wheelchair, not Teddy. Yes. I'm trying to find out why, what happened during that primary. Were the primaries then? Wasn't the nominee chosen in a smoke-filled black room? I think so. Anyways, I think that might have been something that I might have vaguely remembered. But yeah, like the idea of like, trust, being like a antitrust kind of dude. Yeah, dude, not bad. I don't think that was like a common position, for conservatives. I think that was my main point. Anywho. Let's take a look at this clip from in France. Protesters have stormed the headquarters of BlackRock in Paris. The capitalists took over after the New Deal era when they saw how much power they could wield. Oh, yeah, I mean, like, once the New Deal kind of collapsed, or once they found that they could strip the New Deal down, yeah, I mean... Mind you, this happened this happened because Macron unilaterally tried to unilaterally push through pension reform that would force them to work 2 more years. Okay? Macron did this unilaterally, and the entire country was like, you're gonna do what now? Well, I guess Paris is gonna be on fire. You want to keep playing these games. Like, here is an example of what could be. Here's an example of the power that people have should they decide to band together. Can you imagine what the media would be like if this was in the US? Oh man, I can only imagine. You had people like Elon Musk saying, "Oh, actually, it was necessary to make people, it was necessary to, it's necessary to make people work 2 more years." Yeah, okay, buddy. If this was happening in the U.S., you tell if the U.S. had this kind of energy, if the United States populace had this kind of energy, and Elon Musk said that, oh man. I'll just say Elon Musk is very lucky that he lives here, and when he said that, and not in France. Can you imagine the police response if this was in the U.S.? Oh yeah, all all that gear that they've been hoarding, all that military gear. That's what it's for. The retirement age is soon to be 68. Loads of people will die in harness. Anyways. Oh, still working. Gotcha. And the article, kind of giving everything into context. The meaning of this action is quite simple. We went to the headquarters of BlackRock to tell them the money of workers for our pensions, they are taking it. One way or another. Once again, I would like to point out, can you imagine if we had this kind of energy here? If this kind of class consciousness, if you will? If this ability to work together as the working class. Can you imagine if we had this kind of energy? And this is a spokesperson for a union that said this. Why did Macron do that? I don't know. Bullshit, like liberal, kind of like austerity politics. Um, I don't know if there was like any reason, any good logic behind that decision. Given the fact that A, it was incredibly unpopular, and B, it wasn't going to pass through the normal means. It wasn't going to pass through his Congress for all intents and purposes, whatever that's called, the Assembly. I don't know what the French call it, the Assembly or the Legislature, whatever. It wasn't going to pass. So Macron decided that, well, fuck it. I'm going to use like some insert whatever the procedure is called here. It's like, it's kind of like an executive order that goes a little bit above that, but it's kind of like the president deciding unilaterally to pass an executive order without Congress. It's kind of what he did, I guess, to put it into analogy, or I don't know, simplify how things went down. I remember that, but I forget what was behind the reason to raise the retirement age. Yeah, I don't know what the reason was, but like it didn't seem like it was gonna fly. We can just Google it. I don't, Oh, the reason cited was that they can't afford it because of changing age demographics. That doesn't seem like a good enough excuse. If that was all, it would have balanced out in 5 to 10 years. That was idiotic. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't understand where like this logic came from, because like the moment any leader in France decides to utter the words, "We're going to make reforms to X important social safety net," like that night Paris is on fire. I don't understand what the actual like logic is behind that. Yes, and as James just pointed out, France's current retirement age is 62. Um, France's current retirement age is 62 compared is low compared to other European countries. Macron has long talked about raising it because the country's demographic changes. There are more and more older people and comparatively fewer workers to fund the government pensions. I think like also what really pissed people off was, I mean, first of all, the French are incredibly protective about their pensions and their social safety nets, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. But the fact that he also did it unilaterally, yeah, the fact that he did it unilaterally kind of, I guess, sparked what happened there too. Anyways, TLDR. The point is, can you imagine if we had this kind of solidarity here? The problem is that they're harming a generation that's already been harmed. They already live with less opportunity for economic mobility, burdened with the lack of things like housing, effectively same as all Western countries are experiencing. Wait, who's harming a generation? The point I'm trying to make is that any attempt to touch these important social safety nets is met with incredible direct action, and I think it would be nice if we had that kind of energy. Society in general is harming them by expecting them to pay for the benefits of the old that they will never see themselves, while also paying more for homes and general life than older generations did. Well, I mean, yeah, but like the French, generally speaking, have very robust like social safety nets. So, I'm confused. Like the whole point is that they don't want their pensions to be touched. So, I'm under the assumption that they will receive those benefits themselves. It's just that Macron wants to raise that for two more years. So it's only essentially only shafting the younger generation, to be quite honest. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like cost of living and all that, that's a whole other, ball game. That's a whole other point. That's precisely why particularly young French people are protesting, because they know it's a slippery slope. Gotcha. Gotcha. Now it makes sense. I think it would be easier in a smaller country because you don't have to travel far to see how others live. In the US, there's so much opportunity for social isolation that it would be difficult to rally a significant number of the population to protest. True. Yeah, that's a point. But I would also say, like, I think, like, to a degree, social media can be a tool for that. Can be. It's a double-edged sword because it can be can be used as a divisive tool, or it could possibly be an incredibly useful tool to get people together, where otherwise you wouldn't be able to. The largest protests in U.S. history were 3 years ago. Exactly, and like a lot of it was organized. Like Alio says, a lot of it was organized in social media. Um, so in this day and age, I think it's a little bit more possible. Coupled with the fact that the average citizen needs to work 3 jobs and literally has no free time, where in France they have more free time by law. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. Here it's by design. They would not like you to have as much free time, because if you have a lot of free time, you have the ability to organize, the ability to start, researching stuff and thinking, and you can't have all that. Because if you start thinking too much, you'll realize just how shafted we are here. So yeah, we can't have that. So it was just a little food for thought. Be nice to have that kind of energy. Yeah, apathy is exactly correct. It's probably uh predicated on that whole thing with you do need more than one job. Chances are both adults that are working in the household are working 2 jobs each, or whatever, or have to have another extra roommate or whatever it is, just to make ends meet. Oftentimes, if you don't have multiple jobs, or if you don't have some kind of like side gig or whatever, then you have to oftentimes do a lot of overtime and whatever if your job allows that. So that means that you spend a lot of your time working. That's the whole point. The US may not have slavery by law, but they do by consensus. To a degree, yeah, that's true, but we also kind of never we put a little asterisk in the 13th Amendment, I believe. It's like, yeah, so we're not going to allow like slavery asterisks unless asterisk. Right, the side hustle, the point being is that, like Maple said, we just have no other choice. If we want to put food on the table, or if we want to have a roof over our head, chances are most of the time you're going to be working. And that leaves very little time for just organizing, talking to each other. I mean, it's kind of like a little self-preservation bug, or feature, I should say, that capitalism has, the atomization of people. You have no time to have a social life. You have no time to like really just kind of sit down and talk with people. And if you do, it's just kind of like to get away because you've had like a long shift and now you just need to decompress. You never see young people in the cafes during breakfast or lunch in the US? Nah, it's very rare. Or like if you do, it's mostly just to grab something quick and then head back to work. Okay? It's mostly just to grab something and then head back to the desk, you know? Or head back out. All right, so switching gears really quickly, folks. Yeah, we've also been trained that that's how it should be, you know? That whole idea that was like, it was really popular for a while, like that whole idea of like, the grind. That was like incredibly popular. I mean, to a degree, it still is, more or less. But like, there was a time where it was like a thing. It was like a badge of honor, right? Like, oh, I'm just getting back on the grind, you know, doing your umpteenth whatever side hustle. Fortunately, the younger generation are starting to wake up by using social media to see how the rest of the world lives. True. That is one side. That is one positive about social media and the internet. I would not eat lunch and work more or get lectured for eating 15 minutes out of a 10-hour workday. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean that is a positive of social media, is that like you do get the ability to see how the rest of the world is. I mean, like, that's the whole point of me showing like the images from France, right? We could be like this. Instead, here Republicans threaten to reduce or sometimes even torpedo things like Medicare or Social Security, and people still vote for them. And people still vote for them. Now they just need to learn how to wield political power before they get corrupted. Yeah. All right, folks. So switching gears really quickly, Mike Pence won't appeal ruling ordering him to testify in special counsel probe. So we have not forgotten the other cases that are going on, or the other investigations that are going on. Mike Pence will not appeal a federal court ruling ordering him to testify in a special counsel probe into efforts by Donald Trump and his allies to subvert the 2020 election. A spokesperson for the former vice president has said on Wednesday, teeing up to a historic moment in both the special counsel's investigation and the presidency. This was yesterday. I think we kind of made a small mention of it. Pence is poised to recount for the first time under oath his direct conversations with Trump leading up to the January 6th insurrection, when Trump pressured him unsuccessfully, January 6, 2021, when Trump pressured him unsuccessfully to block the 2020 election result and may have been acting corruptly, according to sources who explain the judge's ruling. A date for Pence's grand jury appearance is not yet known. A former vice president has never before complied with a criminal probe subpoena to testify about the actions of a then president, putting Pence in a position to define the powers of his former office. Pence's apparent decision to provide information to special counsel Jack Smith comes as he is exploring a possible challenge to Trump for the Republican presidential nomination in 2024. Smith has pursued interactions several top Trump administration advisors had with the then president, but locking in Pence's testimony would provide one of the most crucial first-hand accounts for investigators, given Trump's heated one-on-one phone call with Pence before the insurrection, and how Trump supporters threatened the vice president during the attack of the Capitol. In the recent ruling, Chief Judge James Boasberg, the U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. has decided Pence must testify about conversations he had with Trump ahead of the U.S. Capitol insurrection. The judge said that the former vice president can still decline to answer questions related to his actions on January 6 itself, when he was serving as president of the Senate for the certification of the 2020 presidential election, according to one of the sources. For Pence and his team, receiving that carve out from the court was critical. They argued to the court that the Constitution's speech or debate clause, which shields lawmakers from certain law enforcement actions connected to their legislative duties, prevents him from being forced to answer questions about some of the conduct that the investigators are looking at. Vice President Mike Pence swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution, and has claimed that the Biden special counsel unprecedented subpoena was unconstitutional under the speech and debate clause was an important one made to preserve the separation of powers outlined by our founders. Having vindicated that principle of the Constitution, Vice President Pence will not appeal the judge's ruling and will comply with the subpoenas required by law. I mean, like, so this may not, this either may be a political move to try to bury Trump, maybe, or maybe he knows that because he got this concession that he's just not going to end up answering anything relevant anyways. Who knows? For me, the reason to challenge the subpoena of a vice president in the role as president of the Senate was an important constitutional agreement to have, Pence told reporters in late March, and now, for the first time ever, a federal court has recognized that these protections extend to a vice president. The forthcoming testimony will likely elicit a strong reaction from Trump, who attempted to block Pence from appearing before the grand jury by asserting executive privilege over the former vice president's testimony. Trump's legal team could still appeal a recent sealed ruling from the district court rejecting his attempts to stop Pence from testifying about their I mean, like, again, this I know that, like, legally, you know, whatever, you're gonna challenge everything, but, like, man, how does that look? How does that look? I mean, this guy could potentially have testimony that could be incredibly exculpatory. If this was incredibly favorable to Trump, he would absolutely want this. So my question is, well, what is he afraid of? And why was he trying to block Pence's testimony so badly? Probably because he's not really that innocent. Again, this is just, like, opinions, and, like, yeah, innocent people don't act this way. So I can only imagine what his true social posts are going to be now. Trump's legal team could still appeal a recent sealed ruling from the district court rejecting his attempts to stop Pence from testifying about their conversations on basis of executive privilege. There's no public indication that Trump team has appealed that ruling. The former president has lost every executive privilege challenge he has tried to make in the investigation thus far. Womp, womp, womp. So I guess we'll see how this goes, or if Pence's testimony is of any relevance at all, um, given the fact that he's probably not going to answer certain questions. So I don't know if that's like, if that's going to end up being relevant or as, you know, as big of a bombshell. But nonetheless, we will continue to follow this investigation, as well as the business fraud investigation. Looks like Trump barely days from court could be facing a gag order. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is like the quality kind of stuff that you're seeing on Trump's Truth Social. He's unironically retruthing this kind of stuff. Apparently, he's got a new grift. A new grift, selling a book called Letters to Trump. Whatever. Marjorie Taylor Greene may also be exempt from a second election for her seat because of January 6th. Are they gonna like investigate her? I don't know. While the Federalist early on Truth Social claimed that the trends are due to cultural, yikes! That is, oh man, that is unambiguous Nazi shit. Like that is unambiguous Nazi shit. Yeah. Yikes. Just as a final point about France, I wasn't able to respond earlier. Both things are happening simultaneously and both are true. France doesn't have the funds to afford pensions. This change was only buying a decade's time until more revision, but it's also very unfair to expect young people to soak up so much economic responsibility while being given very little. I mean, like, but yeah, that's the whole point of the protest, right? Because like the they literally raided, or they entered the BlackRock kind of headquarters as saying like, hey, you know, we've got a few places in mind where our pensions are, you know? It doesn't have to be this way, I guess is what their argument is. And I kind of agree with them. If that makes sense. Idaho governor signs abortion trafficking bill, the first of its kind. Pay attention, folks, because usually things like this, as we've said time and time again, things like this are potential blueprints, potential blueprints for copycat bills. Marjorie Taylor Greene unlocks new levels of unhinged by claiming the U.S. is being invaded by... How many countries are there? Are there even... How many countries are there on this planet? Yeah, I mean, but these are all fine. Maybe some combination. Um, but these are all fine. It doesn't have to be like Macron's unilateral like shafting. Uh, uh, you know, you're right. It could be any of these. Or a combination. Okay, so the world has about 195 countries. And apparently, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, 170 of them are invading are invading the US. Cool. This is news to me. Many of our social issues stem from the fact that housing costs too much and too many older people are sitting on multiple properties that they don't. Well, I don't disagree. I definitely don't disagree that housing is a big chunk of the issues here. This is exactly this is exactly why I advocate for food, housing, education, and healthcare. These things should just kind of be basic, par for the course. Oh yeah, the Wisconsin thing. I don't know if I saw the full speech of
Dulles
this.
from the Midas Touch Network. One of the key defining attributes of the MAGA Republicans, which is the modern day Republican Party, is being a sore loser. They only accept the results of an election if they win. If they lose, they were cheated. The winner doesn't deserve it. They cannot lose with grace or dignity.
Well, the thing is, it's not just about losing and being like, all right, yeah, I took my L. It's not about that. It's about power, okay? Like, let us be very clear. It's about power, okay? These people do not care. It's about power.
Or humility.
The only reason any of this is happening is because they feel like this kind of resonates and gives them this whole bullshit about election fraud every time they lose. It's to wield it as a weapon, because their cult members buy it. That's it. It is about power. Carrie Lake is still claiming victory. Yeah, of course. It's the new modus operandi. It's the new MO.
Or humanity. It is utterly and completely despicable, and the tone has been set by their cult leader, Donald Trump. Look, this was on display on Tuesday night when Janet Protasewicz went on to win the Supreme Court justice seat in Wisconsin. She was the Democratic-backed candidate who talked about things like protecting a woman's right to choose, and she talked about the importance of protecting the rights of workers, and she talked about the importance of free and fair elections. Her opponent was MAGA Republican Dan Kelly. Let me give you right now just a preview of Dan Kelly, what was supposed to be a concession speech, but basically was just the MAGA Republican Dan Kelly whining and saying that the winner, Janet Protasewicz, is unworthy of winning. Here, play this brief clip.
It don't matter if she's worthy or unworthy. You lost.
And it brings me no joy to say this. I wish that in a circumstance like this, I would be able to concede to a worthy opponent. but I do not have a worthy opponent.
Well, facts don't really care about your feelings, and you lost the election. You absolute man baby.
To which I can concede. This was the most deeply deceitful, dishonorable, despicable campaign I have ever seen run for the courts.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Fact is, the game was rigged from the start. I only lose to worthy candidates. Hey, memo for the record.
It was truly beneath contempt.
I want to show you the
Dude, is he about to like cry? Howdy. Truly, the biggest snowflakes. Like every accusation is a confession. Every accusation is a confession. These people are like unironically like the biggest like snowflakes because they have to be. They have to be. Like the necessity to be the victim here is unreal for these people. Oh my god. This guy's a villain's lackey look to him. Yeah. Today's my Friday. Tomorrow's my day off from work. Very happy. Nice. MAGA bingo. It's outrageous.
broader clip of what Dan Kelly said. So you have
Echo
the
Resto
full
Dragon. How's it
context
going? Been lurking, but was here. Been here, but lurking. Welcome.
as
Glad
well.
you're here.
But this kind of proves as well the importance of Janet Protasewicz winning the seat of Supreme Court Justice. I mean, Dan Kelly clearly does not have the temperament to be in government, does not have the temperament to be a judge. He is way too emotional and, you know, has no ability to accept defeat gracefully at all. All you have to do is say it was a hard-fought race. There were winners and losers in every election, and the people of Wisconsin have spoken, and they want Janet Protasewicz because she represents the interests of the majority of people.
Yeah, I mean, like that's how it works. So yeah. Tennessee legislature voted to expel one of their own for joining in the protest at the Capitol. Yes, they expelled one person so far. Mrs. Johnson was not expelled in Tennessee. Gotcha. So there's one more vote, one more round of voting, I guess. Welcome, Bipedal Meatbag.
Who don't want MAGA Republican government control over their bodies, stopping equality, stopping workers' right? They don't want that. They just want normalcy, humanity, decency on the court, and real law and order. It should also be mentioned that Mr. Dan Kelly over here, his name came up in one of the January 6th committee depositions as potentially giving advice to Wisconsin legislators who were looking into how could they just tip the scales for Donald Trump to overthrow a free and fair election.
Yeah, this is not surprising at all. Wow. Dude's part of another, like, one of the many schemes that the Republican Party had, like, as a whole. This isn't like an isolated incident. So again, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, from like top to bottom, from state to local to federal. The Republican Party is just like it's just completely incompatible with democracy.
Which I think a lot of voters are focused on democracy as well as an important issue. Let me play for you now, though, Dan Kelly's despicable and disgusting concession speech. So it's only a few minutes, but I want you to watch the full thing, and then we're going to talk about it after. Here, play this clip.
Now, this didn't turn out the way that we were looking for. And I think there are a couple of reasons for it, and I think we need to address them head on. and it brings me no joy to say this. I wish that in a circumstance like this, I would be able to concede to a worthy opponent.
Wah. Wah.
But I do not have a worthy opponent to which I can concede.
True that.
This was the most deeply deceitful, dishonorable,
I think the
despicable
booze was
campaign I have
talking
ever
here.
seen run for the courts.
Yes.
It was truly beneath contempt. Now I say this not because we did not prevail. I do not say this because of the rancid slanders that were launched against me, although that was bad enough. But that is not my concern. My concern is the damage done to the institution of the court.
Yes.
What damage? Bro. What are you talking about? Big male Karen energy, true. Mayhem hippie with the tier 1 sub for 10 months. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that. Welcome, howdy. Wah, wah, wah.
Yes. Yes.
My opponent is a serial liar.
Yep. Yes.
How?
Yep.
She's disregarded judicial ethics.
Yep. Yes.
She's demeaned the judiciary with her behavior.
How? What are you talking about? What? I thought he was gonna say serial killer.
And this is the future that we have to look forward to in Wisconsin. I have been committed to the rule of law my entire career. I understand this to be the most fundamental, basic promise of
Back it up,
civilization.
Snowflake. You lost. True.
And in its heart, it lives in the judiciary, and if not there, nowhere at all. We've had this laid out plainly for us. We could have the rule of law or the rule of Janet. But the people of Wisconsin have chosen the rule of Janet. Now, I respect that decision because it is theirs to make.
So then, why are we
So
having?
I've gone around this great state of ours.
Why are we having
Every-
this conversation, bro? Like, what? What a waste of fucking oxygen. Holy shit. The rule of Janet, true. All hail the the rule of Janet.
Everywhere I've gone, I've reminded the people that all the power to create and maintain governments in this state belongs to them. And all the power to decide who sits in the seats created by their Constitution belongs to them.
Oh, so and they made that choice, bro.
And I
What do you?
promised them that I would respect their decision in this race, regardless of what it is. Because that is what a servant does. So I respect the decision that the people of Wisconsin have made.
Probably a Federalist Societist cultist. Wouldn't be
I
surprised.
think this does not end well. Now, as I look forward, I hope it does end.
Check out the smooth brain on Dan. From his forehead,
been
it's not the only
beautiful,
not only elections he's
beautiful.
losing.
Life here in Wisconsin with all of you. And I wish Wisconsin the best of luck, because I think it's going to need it. Thank you.
It really, really, really disgusting, that speech right there, right? I mean, you know, when we speak to our kids, when we speak to the, you know, we talk about sore losers and we talk about the important. They're going
What
to
a fucking man child. Holy shit.
be people who win. There's going to be people who lose. You know, and for the MAGA Republicans, they just don't believe in free and fair elections
Yes,
anymore. They don't.
thank you. That's fundamentally it. It's about power. That's it. That's actually it. They fundamentally don't believe in any of that stuff. The elections, as long as it goes their way, is just a way of kind of having a facade. But they don't actually care about that. They don't. They really don't.
only believe that the elections work when they win. And if they don't win, you see speeches like the one Dan Kelly gave, or you see what the MAGA Republicans do where they claim, oh, it's been stolen from me. Here, just to give you some examples, this is Carrie Lake, right? She claims, oh, I didn't lose. It was the cartel. The cartel now controls Arizona.
The cartel,
because
true.
the election was stolen from me. Here, play this clip of Carrie Lake.
This stolen election, because we didn't do anything after 2020, we allowed another steal. Now we have literally the cartel completely controlling our state.
Wait, what? The cartel? Is this like, is she talking about like the literal cartel? What are you talking about? Or is this like a dog whistle?
They've taken our government from we the people. I mean, they couldn't get someone like me in office, even though overwhelmingly we won in a landslide.
No, that's not what happened. He really thinks highly of himself, has zero self-awareness. He's the quote good one and his opponent's the most violent. Yeah, this is like classic, like inline, like with fascistic kind of dealings here. I think it's dog. Yeah, because like I think what she means is cabal. I think the word she's trying to use is cabal. That's controlling our country. I mean, it's pretty, it sounds pretty obvious or pretty spot on to me.
They've taken our government from we the people.
Yeah, like they've taken.
I mean, they
I don't know,
couldn't
man.
get someone like me in office, even though overwhelmingly we won.
Because like that sounds to me like she's. That sounds to me like she just didn't know how to use the word cabal, and she came up with cartel.
A landslide. I'm too dangerous to their plan. I throw a wrench.
Their plan? What are you talking about? Who are you talking about, lady?
In their plan.
And then her cult leader, Donald Trump. Here, I could show you. Donald Trump lies about his loss each and every speech that he gives, and he claims that he won.
Cartel also fits. Oh, okay. Say, I mean, like to me, it just sounds like, it sounds like the Jewish question. They've taken over government. They're the ones pulling strings. They couldn't, like, I don't know, man. This just sounds like unironic echo posting. No, it's not just no, she's not referencing the Illuminati. No, it sounds like unironic, like echo posting, essentially. The right wing is humping the leg of the Mexican drug cartels are taking over the border and our country. Really? That's what this is about? Jesus Christ.
Which is, he lost by 7 million.
A political cartel would be like Republican and Democrats working together to keep her out. Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I want to show you this clip because this is when he goes, well, I actually won Wisconsin. No, you didn't. You actually lost Wisconsin. Play the clip.
Everything in business is negotiable except quality.
Why are you trying to sell me golf shit? I don't golf.
I knew that before, but it's fake news.
You didn't. You actually lost Wisconsin. Play the clip.
How much? And we knew that before, but it's fake news. They said Wisconsin. A poll came out, Washington Post, ABC, just before the election. I'm going to lose Wisconsin by 17 points. I said, no, I'm going to win Wisconsin. Well, actually, I won Wisconsin. They're trying to say he's a little down, but I actually won. But that's called suppression.
And here's a clip from, this is Steve Bannon on his propaganda network, and he goes, let me be blunt, the election was illegitimate, Trump won. Play this clip.
Let me be blunt. They are illegitimate. Trump won. We're not going to stop 1 second, okay? In every state that we're going to.
We're not going to stop. I mean, like this is like stochastic terrorism. What's with the racing stripe on the side of his head? Wait, who?
Decertify this election.
And going from one propaganda show
Trump,
to the other,
I don't know.
This is Fox talking about Donald Trump's speech, where he talks about how he never lost the 2020 election and how he's going to win 2016, 2020, and he's going to win 3 times in a row. And just watch these Fox losers, what they talk about. Play this clip.
They wanted to hear that there's going to be a Republican in the big chair at the White House in 4 years.
Yeah.
He went on to say, I think right after that, we may just have to beat them for the third time,
Right.
in allusion to 2016 and 2020.
Because he won
talked
last
a lot about
time,
the
they
border.
just took it away from them.
There you go. Exactly. Everyone in the
Oh god, man! I hope they play these fucking clips. I hope they play these like very public and very available and very searchable clips on that fucking Fox News lawsuit, the Fox News versus Dominion. I hope they play like these clips. Holy shit!
crowd got it right away.
You know,
What a bunch of fucking assholes. Seriously. Seriously. Pouring gasoline for the sake of fucking money. Absolute ghouls. All of them.
here on the Midas Touch Network, you know, we talk about values, and I think it's very important that we talk about American values, right? Not everybody wins all the time, right? But it is critical and important that we talk about free and fair elections, that we talk about decency, that we talk about humanity, that we...
Okay, so yeah, but the thing is, like, this is on the presumption that these people care about any of that. They don't. Trump even admitted if you say it long enough, it will be true. Yeah, that's a classic. That's been a long kind of standing of propaganda. It's an incredible propaganda tool. That's been like a staple. It's not just like Trump who understood this. It's like it's classic. Next year is going to be crazy. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Depending on how close the election is, like, you know, next year, who knows where we're gonna be in a couple of months from now. But on the presumption that we stay on the track that, Jesus, yes, let's just finish this year. But just like true. Listen, we're only in April, okay? Hold on. But if we're planning on like the same track that, you know, that we have, on the presumption that Trump isn't going to stop running. So if that is the case, it goes to primary. Trump is probably going to win the primary. But the general election, if you ask me, the general election is going to be close. But I think he's going to lose. And when that happens, oh boy, these people. That was originally said by Goebbels. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's right. Thank you, Stevies. He's not getting any new people. He's talking to the same crowds, right? So he's not really. I don't know if he's gonna win the general election. And when that happens, these people are gonna lose whatever semblance of shit that they had. And I'm actually very worried that, like, because yes, it may be you know, a core group that doesn't really change or hasn't been added to, but it is still a sizable amount of people. Enough that it worries me. Enough that it worries me that these people might actually do something. Like, I'm talking about like worse than January 6th type shit. No, I think worse. I think worse. They're even leaving his rallies. Yeah, but there's still enough of them. There's still enough in that cult to make me very concerned. There's still enough in that cult that makes me very concerned if it comes to a head where there is a scenario where Biden and Trump, you know, go head to head, and it turns out that, you know, obviously Trump is just so unpopular, generally wise, he can't, you know, win the general election, but enough of his cult members decide that since they've been primed since like before 2020, they've been primed that everything is rigged. The election's going to be rigged. The election's rigged. He lost the election because it was rigged. So now he's going to continue and has been continuing to hammer at this point almost 3+ years now. 3+ years. So if he loses again, I mean, they're just gonna default without him even saying anything. They're just gonna default to, oh, this is just another rigged election. We can't get a win. We just can't get a win. So we've got nothing left to lose, and like that's kind of freaky to me. It's a little bit disconcerting. He inspires people to vote against him, which is good because Biden doesn't inspire many people to vote for him. True, that's exactly what happened, and most likely will happen again. The New York case isn't until December, but 3 other cases across the country are also going to be happening. I really hope happening. Really, I think you'll probably get acts of violence in 2 to 3 months. These people don't deal with patience very well. I mean, yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. The media is always conflating the activity of the extremists on social media with actual participation in politics. It makes it look like there's more crazies than there really are on both the left and the right. Yeah, but I mean, certainly it's possible. But I really wouldn't underestimate. I really wouldn't underestimate these people. And like, if it comes down to it, and their dear leader loses again, the first thing that they're gonna think of, again, Trump doesn't even have to say anything. The first thing that they're gonna conclude is that the election was rigged. And like, these people's propensity for violence is very high, as we've seen. They decided that their course of action, they decided that their course of action for losing that 2020 election was to essentially engage in insurrectionary behavior. That was their go-to course of action. Can you imagine? Since now it's embedded in their head that no matter that the elections are rigged, so if they lose, it's rigged. That it's already indoctrinated in their head. And if it happens, where again Trump ends up being the Republican candidate, and it ends up being Trump versus Biden, and it ends up being that Trump loses, yeah, they're gonna default to there's nothing left to do. Trump pundits is a right-wing machine. Remember when Trump told people to get the vaccine and pundits and crowds hated it? I mean, yeah, but I'm not talking about like the vaccine stuff. I'm talking about the calls to action. Like, he's already primed the pump. He's lined this entire place with gasoline. He's literally spent the last 3 years pouring gasoline on this whole place. Literal Nazis from the MAGA camp were at a drag show. Yeah, yeah. This is a video. I mean, like, again, this is all because of calls to action. Calls to action by people like freaking Matt Walsh and whatnot. Yeah, they're only online. Yeah, but they're incredibly influential. Jam Tomb coming in hot with a party of 3. Thank you so much. I appreciate the raid. Welcome, everybody. If you don't know who I am or have never seen me before, I am A Difficult Truth. I do the news. I do the politics. We are here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you enjoy your stay, don't forget to hit the follow button. It really does help us out. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. You get 6 free emotes, okay? just for hitting the follow button. Look at that. DJ Che, how's it going?
Listen, we have a problem in this country. The problem we are told by, you probably knew that. The problem we are being told by everybody from neo-Nazis to White Lives Matter people to the Proud Boys to all sorts of other unaffiliated right-wing activists is that the problem is drag shows, drag queens, drag time story hours, and that sort of thing. Now, I have video to play for you today of an event at a drag show at a public park in Wadsworth, Ohio. I have video here from Ford Fisher from News to Share. And what you will see is that those who are against the drag show and decided to protest are pretty horrible people, including gun-toting neo-Nazis, which you will see, the Patriot Front, White Lives Matter, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's all the same. Like, yeah, there may be like different names, different factions, but it's all the same garbage.
These are the folks who were really, really upset that children, if their parents choose to, might be brought to a drag show. Take a look at this.
And if this is the kind of shit that like I'm seeing, I don't know, man. I don't know if like the dear leader from this group of people, because guaranteed that these people would at the drop of a hat would absolutely do violent actions if they are if since they've been primed for years now at this point that everything is rigged against them. Yes, these people are incredibly dangerous.
So, by the way, there's a guy with a gun and a swastika flag right on. If you're listening right now, that's the first thing we're seeing here. And of course, this is, you know, as a parent myself, if you say to me, what am I most interested in keeping my daughter away from? Drag time story hour or gun-toting neo-Nazis with swastikas?
Yeah.
The answer's pretty clear to me, my friends. Zig Heil is where we are right now.
Yeah, this is happening in the year of our Lord in 2023. Fucking Sieg Heiling pieces of shit.
They're yelling, pedophiles get something.
Yeah, just cool. Just completely out in the open. Completely out in the open. Just Sieg Heiling. Essentially, essentially calling the drag queens pedophiles and wanting to kill them. Yes, the rope. Hi, from Connecticut. I love progressive ideas like getting basic income. I mean, that's definitely more progressive than what we have here, but I don't know if that's... Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Hello. And as we went over yesterday, we know who the real pedophiles are. Remember, every accusation ends up being a confession.
Okay, that's probably enough. Now, as you can tell, these are merely people expressing economic anxiety because of a middle class that has been left behind. Right. No, this really does go to show that this is not about all of the innocent things that many on the Republican right have started to say. They very often will say, these right.
Sadly, if these neo-Nazis could take the balaclavas off, it would be better. No, not really. The guy that was leading them, the guy that was leading the Sieg Heil was completely open-faced. They don't care. I don't think that they're very concerned about hiding, considering they're just like out there Sieg Heiling in plain daylight, and their leader, the one wielding the fucking swastika flag, was completely unmasked.
Right-wing movements, they are here because the Democratic Party has left the middle class behind, and they're suffering economic anxiety, and they're worried about jobs being offshored to China and Mexican immigrants, documented or undocumented.
But that's kind of like the Nazi trope shit, isn't it? Like, if that's like the more middle ground take from this, I don't know, Mr. Pac-Man. I don't know about that one. I don't know, man. I don't know. It kind of just seems all kind of packaged into the whole ideology. That's kind of how they get their in. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
To taking their jobs or whatever the case may be. This is
not that I disagree of like what he's saying is basically he's basically mocking that idea. But like I'm saying that it's I don't know if I would like characterize like the more like moderate Republicans, like that's what their excuse is. Like I don't know, man, they're not really moderate to me. Pac-Man is mocking the idea that economics are relevant to the rise of the far right. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just saying that like I don't know if I would characterize that this is like a kind of like a centrist Republican idea, or maybe I just got it wrong. I don't know
any of that. This is about retrograde, outdated, hysterically backwards beliefs, and the desire to bring those beliefs into public view, partially as a result of the normalization of this type of stuff dating back most acutely to the Trump presidency. Now, I know I've said it before. I don't believe Trump created racism. I don't believe Trump created white supremacy or neo-Nazism. Of course he didn't. But what Trump did do is he made a lot of the people who already believe those things more comfortable espousing those views in public.
Yeah, true. 100% true. The huge history book of the history of the Nazi Party before the World Wars. Yep. I talked to Ben Shapiro once in his YouTube channel, and I left a comment saying that kind of triggered him, that how do we know that Jesus wasn't biracial because the country of Israel is in Asia when you could look up the country location on the Google search map? Okay.
And when you look at CPAC today, when you looked at CPAC last year, and we noticed the biggest applause lines were the transphobic stuff and the homophobic stuff.
True. The modern concept of race didn't exist 2,000 years ago. Yep.
And Marxists, there's Marxists, which of course there are very few Marxists in the United States. That is part of the coddling of these sorts of views where people end up being comfortable coming out. Now, a lot of these people...
True. I mean, like I said, in the year of our Lord, 2023, we have Sieg Heiling swastikas, like, bearing fucking Nazis.
Clearly aren't that comfortable because they're wearing masks. And if they were really confident and comfortable in espousing these beliefs publicly, they wouldn't wear the masks. And of course, I'm sure many of them would end up getting themselves fired, but that's not the situation.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, the guy leading them didn't have a mask, and he was
again,
like perfectly...
just remember that
whatever.
At the core of this is drag shows, which parents might choose to bring their kids to, or maybe not. But we're talking about parental choice, parental rights, which is what these right-wing groups claim to be all about. Well, let parents make their choices then. Don't shut down the drag event. Allow parents who like it to bring their kids, and allow parents who don't like it to bring their kids somewhere else. But no, all of a sudden that freedom to parent goes away when they decide we're...
Right, because every accusation is every accusation is just a confession. They don't care about parental rights in the same way that they don't care about, life. They don't care about that. They don't care about freedom or liberty. It's the opposite. It's always the opposite. Some believe, I know it's kind of out there, that there's an agenda of a woman takeover who are enforcing it. These people? Are you saying that some of these people, like, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because, like, the type of stuff that these, like, people believe, it's just out there. That there's a woman takeover who are enforcing mask mandates. I mean, I don't know if that conspiracy theory pans out anymore.
We're going to show up with the guns and with the swastikas in order to try to shut this thing down. If you're just listening today, the clip I played will be on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram. You can find it there. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and make sure you have liked this video if you were watching on YouTube. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
All right. Cool. Jesus. Anyways, all this is to say, yeah, I mean, this is just kind of like par for the course. And now that Trump kind of like has allowed this thing to be normalized, that's what we're gonna see, and that's what concerns me. That's what concerns me. That if next year, if the election, goes, the election ends up being a Biden victory, that these people are going to get incredibly violent. They've shown their propensity for violence, and the best thing that you can do is just build community, close ranks, and have some type of situational awareness, especially given like all these incidents that have happened recently. It's just wild. Have you ever watched Flashpoint with Mike Lindell? It's terrible evangelizing for MAGA and Trump. No, I have not. I don't even know what Flashpoint is. They're claiming the Tennessee shooting was fake. Yeah, not surprising. Wait. So hold on. So how do we how do we square this circle? Because like originally they were using it as an excuse. They were using the deaths of children and people and 3 adults as an excuse to attack trans people. But now it's fake. How do we square that circle? These people are so incoherent. So, whatever. I don't know. It doesn't have to make sense. All right, folks. We've got a couple more stories that we got to get through. Idaho governor signs abortion trafficking bill into law. The Idaho governor signed a bill into law yesterday, that makes it illegal for an adult to help a minor get an abortion across state lines without parental consent. The new law is the first of its kind in the U.S. and comes less than a year after Idaho banned nearly all abortions. So you ban nearly all abortions, essentially, and now you're going to make it like incredibly difficult for, someone, I guess, who isn't 18, access to the healthcare that they may need. Wouldn't it be strange if the right now says that since women started joining military, that if World War III starts, women have to do the fight against North Korea and they can't avoid? Why would that be strange? They've said that before. Pretty lost myself that one camp is claiming that it's hate crime, even though there's zero evidence. But angry Biden didn't call that. No, hate crime against what group? Was there a specific target against a specific group? There was no hate crime. None of this makes sense. And and I'm not going to attempt to make any logic out of something that wasn't logicked into. So, with the Supreme Court's reversal of Roe v. Wade, last summer, the right and duty to establish legal policy on abortion was finally returned to our state democratic process. Little, a Republican, wrote in a letter to Idaho lawmakers on Wednesday announcing he had signed the legislation. They've been saying it's a hate crime targeting Christians. Yeah, of course, which they don't know. They don't know if the person was targeting Christians or not. They don't know this. They don't know this. Like I said, they're so desperate. They're so desperate to be the victim that they will literally use the deaths of 3 children and 3 adults to do so. Jesus Christ. How low can these people go? They're claiming Christians are a minority, even though there's 64% of the this is just beyond like comprehension. There's nothing here. I can't respond to that. I can't respond to that. You can't. This is delusional. And Idaho has an aging population. The text, which was first introduced, Bill 242, which first was introduced to the legislature in February, lays out a new crime of abortion trafficking, in which an adult helps a pregnant, unemancipated minor obtain an abortion or abortion pills by recruiting, harboring, or transporting them without the consent of their parent or guardian. Anyone who is found guilty by committing this crime will face 2 to 5 years in prison and could also be sued by the minor's parent or guardian. What? A parent or guardian who raped their child will not be allowed to sue. What? The legislation allows an affirmative defense to prosecution, an opportunity for a defendant to present evidence in court that would negate liability if a parent or guardian of the pregnant minor consented to trafficking the minor. What is this? Unless the abortion provider was located in another state. Base of PJ, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Folks, if you have not seen me before, we are A Difficult Truth. We do the news, we do the politics, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys enjoy the stay and you guys enjoy the content and you want to help us out, hit the follow button. It really does help us out. And enjoy 6 free emotes. Welcome. Thank you so much, Base of PJ. I got to shout out a couple of people here. First shout out is Jam Tomb. Thank you so much. Second shout out, twitch.tv/base of PJ. If you haven't already, please go give them a follow. We also have another diamond in chat. Shout out to twitch.tv/AlioShare. Appreciate that. That's how you know it's F. They added, if you rape, then you can't sue. Yeah, I know. This is just beyond wild. Beyond wild. In his letter, Little clarified that the new law does not criminalize, preclude, or otherwise impair interstate travel, nor does it limit an adult woman from obtaining an abortion in another state. What? I thought Diamond died. How is she in chat? We have Diamond in chat? Oh, you said Diamond's in chat. Oh, Ha! Womp womp. These people have allowed themselves to lose sight of what is objectively good and what is objectively evil. Oh no, they know exactly what they're doing, Maple. I get children have far less rights than adults, but they also have equal rights. This should be on the equal list. I mean, when it comes to bodily autonomy, I think so. I think so. I mean, like, why would you force? First of all, why would you force a child to go through this? Like, the second chart is what I meant by Idaho having an older population. Oh, I see. Actually, some states have been toying with bringing in the biblical law of women must marry her rapist. I mean, these people are also bringing back they're fighting to keep child marriage. So, is it this one? Oh, I see. Idaho's getting an extreme population. Right-wing extremist groups have been moving their families into Idaho for a better part of a decade now. Sheesh. All right, focus, chat. Oh, I see. This was like because of the way child. Oh my God, these ads! Stop it. Because of the way these. Oh, good Lord! Hold on, I can't close this. Stop it! Stop it! Okay. Whew. Oh my God! Stop it. Okay. Anywho. Because of the way, I guess, the law worked, they basically allowed this marriage to happen because the parents got involved or something. Something about, of course, the church deacon who raped her. Currently, no state bans a marriage before age 18. It's estimated that 250,000 minors were married in the U.S. from 2000 to 2015. Jesus. Talk about... Hey, you want to talk about, the real groomers? Talk about the party that, wants to defend this kind of stuff. Because unmarried pregnant girls are an embarrassment. Right. And then, and because of that, the parents have decided that the best course of action, of course, is to have her marry her, rapist, which was the church deacon. Any conversation about groomers has to start with the Catholic Church and Boy Scouts. True. 100%. Have you heard of the Tennessee Three? Yeah, two of them. Well, one of them got booted. One of them didn't, and I don't know about the third round of voting. Just like back in the day, 10,000 years ago. Yep. Just got done protesting. Nice, you were there? You probably could have saw me on the news. Nice. Based. Cool. Very cool. Rather, the abortion trafficking provision in the bill only seeks to prevent unemancipated minor girls from being taken across state lines for an abortion without the knowledge and consent of their parent or guardian. Ah, yes. Truly solving problems that happen. Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates West, a nonprofit advocating for reproductive rights in the state of Hawaii, Idaho, and Washington, took to Twitter on Monday to vow the challenge to Idaho's new law in court. Yet again, Idaho's governor disregarded constituents and signed HB 242 into law, creating the nation's first crime in so-called quote-unquote abortion trafficking. The legislation is despicable, and we're going to do everything in our power to stop it. Again, things like this are important to pay attention to, because like if this sticks, then this will become the blueprint for other copycat laws. 2 weeks ago, Idaho became the first U.S. state to enact a law modeled after recent legislation passed in Texas that bans abortions after 6 weeks. Again, this is exactly what I was talking about, copycat laws. Before many women know they're even pregnant, the Idaho law allows for exception in the case of rape, incest, or medical emergency, but women are required to file a police report to show it to the medical provider before the abortion. What? That's so fucked up, man. That's so fucked up. The legislature also allows the father, grandparents, siblings, uncles, or aunts of the fetus to sue a medical provider who performed. That's so fucked up. Who performs the procedure. I've said this before and I'll say it again. A party, a movement, an ideology that doesn't believe in bodily autonomy should be nowhere near power. All bets are off when basically you have no standing for bodily autonomy. If you don't believe in that, all bets are off. All bets are off. I mean, you could see it, right? You can see it in their ideology, right? They don't want people to have the right to bodily autonomy. They want to control who you marry, who you sleep with. They want to control what you learn in school. I mean, they want to be in the most like intimate places, while simultaneously claiming that they're a movement of small government, or they're the party of small government. Whatever. So messed up that the first dude who got expelled is a marcher, and that's how he got a lot of his support. I marched with him in a BLM 2020 march. Nice! That is very cool. Based. This one we're just going to go over really quickly. Yeah, domestic terrorists are going to domestic terrorists. The Trump judge and his family have been receiving threats after that New York arrest. In the 24 hours since President Trump's arraignment, the presiding judge and his family have received multiple threats. Two sources familiar with the matter have said. One official said dozens of threats have recently been directed at the judge and his chambers, but did not give exact time frame for them. And the other source says Manhattan DA and other top officials in his office continue to receive threats. The threats have been in the form of calls, emails, and letters. The New York police detail assigned to the DA's office is providing extra security to all effect. I mean, seriously, I don't know if I could actually trust the police, given the fact that these fuckers essentially greeted Trump when he came off the plane with MAGA hats. Anyways, other steps have been taken as well. Online bios of employees, the Manhattan DA, were recently removed from the DA's office website, according to a source familiar with the matter, because of troubling posts on social media, including Trump's Truth Social platform. Yep, these are domestic terrorists, essentially. Right, you can't. Exactly. You can't trust them. Like, it's wild that even happened. Like, I'm completely flabbergasted that was like even like remotely accepted. But okay, whatever. Carpet Packs, how's it going? Yeah, well, conservatives aren't known for taking other ideas, you know? Trump and his allies have publicly criticized Merchant and his family, including his adult daughter. Ahead of his court appearance on Tuesday, Trump blasted Merchant on Truth Social account as a highly partisan judge, and said the judge and his family are Trump haters. What? In the post, Trump said his daughter worked for Kamala's now the Biden-Harris campaign, the former president's adult sons, have also posted links to stories from conservative outlets focusing on Merchant's daughter's employment. Hey, listen, bro, my brother in Christ, if you think that this is a big problem, why don't you try it in court? Asked about remarks Donald Trump and others made about Merchant and his family, a spokesperson for the state court said Merchant had no comment. Merchant's daughter was listed in the 2020 election cycle as president of the Authentic Campaign, a firm Vice President Kamala Harris used for digital fundraising and advertising. Wait, so she wasn't even like a direct person on the campaign? She was like hired? Okay, whatever. She was also listed as a president and a partner of Authentic Campaigns in a 2020 post on his website. Authentic Campaigns identifies itself as a digital agency progressives can trust to get the job done right. Just because Trump controls his unfortunate twisted children doesn't mean other people do, right? Federal campaign finance reports show that Authentic has worked with a variety of Democratic groups, including Harris's presidential campaign and Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. There's no available evidence to suggest that Merchant's daughter has done any subsequent work for Biden, and no evidence to suggest that she now works for a Biden political operation. And again, like, what does this have to do with like what's going on in the District of New York? Last month, Bragg received a letter containing a death threat and white powder. The FBI and New York police have said they were investigating. The letter addressed to Bragg said, "Alvin, I'm going to kill you." The source said it contained a small amount of white powder. Yeah, domestic terrorists are... It's funny how, like, these people come out of the woodwork when Daddy Trump is currently being put to account. I mean, if this is the type of like reaction that these domestic terrorists are doing, mind you, Trump hasn't even been like convicted. Like the trial hasn't even started. For all we know, Trump, like nothing's gonna happen to him. And like this is the type of reaction that these domestic terrorists are doing. I mean, which is what I'm saying. When I go back to that, if they lose the election, if Trump, ends up going to the general and he loses the election, I'm actually concerned. I'm unironically concerned of what these people would do. of what these cult members would do. Because like if this is the reaction they're having, and like Trump hasn't even been convicted, the trial hasn't even been started. I can only imagine after 3 years of being told that everything is rigged, all the elections are rigged, there's no possible way that I can lose the election unless it's rigged. I mean, whatever. I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. Well, Donnie Jr. helped and posted a photo of the judge's daughter. I mean, yeah, but that's kind of like public information. I'm just saying, like, what's the relevance of it? I mean, did she work like on specific campaigns related to the judge themselves? I don't know. It seems like they're grasping at straws. That's what it seems like. Because they can't contend with the actual, like, accusations. They can't contend with the actual, like, meat and potatoes of the accusations. They have to do whatever distractions, or they have to, like, talk about literally anything else. If Trump goes down, what you'll probably get is some big event, and like January 6th, it will be massively bungled. I mean, maybe, but maybe next time they'll be less willing to stand down, and maybe next time they'll be actually you know, willing to use more violent methods. I mean, that kind of stuff worries me, you know? I mean, the propensity for violence and domestic terrorism is there. It's projection, it's how they deal with everything. Whew. Oh, man. And this guy has been pouring gasoline for 3 years straight. Just pouring gasoline and holding like a box of matches and a lighter. Oh, man. Scary stuff. Thankfully, Trump called for riots. This month did not happen in March. Well, I mean, he called for protests, but you know, I'm thinking like what could happen if he loses the election. He doesn't have to call for anything. Is my argument. They've already been primed. From all the January 6th in my experience with football, hooligans, the majority of mad guys are basically spineless, especially if they went in with guns. They wouldn't use them and be carted off in mass. I don't know. I don't know, thinking Sabercat. I don't know. These people are unhinged. These people are unhinged and unstable, and it's a wild card. That's what worries me. It's a wild card. You're right. They may not end up doing anything. Or they may end up doing several acts of violence. I don't know. Beware of true believers. Yeah, exactly. I'm very, very, very very much of the opinion that these people are quite capable of doing you know, violence. Definitely not Dusto. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. It's very concerning. I mean, like the video we just watched. Like, these people are showing up to the drag queen story time. Full on Sikh Highling with big swastika flags. I mean, yeah, I am very, very concerned. and armed. Clarence Thomas has accepted undisclosed luxury trips from GOP mega donor for decades. All right. Very, very reassuring. Yeah, definitely not Dusto. Gotcha. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has accepted never trust guys with two first names. First name as a surname. True. Clarence Thomas has accepted secret luxury trips from Republican mega donor Harlan Crow for more than 2 decades in apparent violation of financial disclosure law. Will there be any consequences? No. Nope. Thomas has vacation on Crow's 62-foot super yacht, flown on the real estate developer's private jet, and spent time at the GOP donor's private resort and other exclusive retreats. ProPublica has reported, citing documents of dozens of interviews. Heat! How's it going? Never trust guys. True. By the way, since you're here, I was gonna do, it has been too long, yes. Since you're here, I was gonna do the, reveal on Monday, but since you're here, should we put up the nice and very thoughtful, card? Should we make it official and put it as part of the set? Yes? Okay, we'll make it official. Friend of the channel and wonderful mod Heat has decided. I don't know what it is, but I'm nodding. Okay, good. That's all that matters. Has given me a wonderful care package, but along with that care package came a very thoughtful art from her daughter that is now going to be a part of the set. So very much appreciated. So I will now have this as part of the set. Probably going to be behind the crab there. The crab brave meme. There we go. It actually fits perfectly. Look at that. It actually fits perfectly. Right there. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Ellie. Very, very kind. And now you know, Mono. I received some wonderful art. Yes, I did. I indeed got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now we got some wonderful art to put behind the scene there. Look at that. That was sweet. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. The worst part is I still couldn't. Womp womp. Alright. We gotta wrap this up, folks. Corruption, Supreme Court justice, no accountability. Alright, let's go. Thomas, 74-year-old conservative associate justice who has served the nation's highest court since 1991, has not reported the trips on his financial disclosures as required by law, at the nonprofit newsroom reported. Damn, maybe can we get some more accountability here? This is corruption of like the highest, quite possibly of the highest order, the Supreme Court, no less. The investigation offers more fuel for Thomas's critics, who say his refusal to recuse himself from cases on touching issues related to his wife's political work in conservative circles, including her involvement in the schemes to overturn the 2020 election, pose a conflict of interest. True. Ethics experts and ex-judges interviewed by ProPublica were incredulous that Thomas seems to have completely disregarded his higher ethical obligations. But the thing is, there is no ethical obligations, not written in paper. Not written in paper. So no, technically he's not bound by any of this. Virginia Cantor, chief ethics counsel to watchdog group Crew, told the outlet, when a justice's lifestyle is being subsidized by the rich and famous, it absolutely corrodes public trust. Yeah. Yes. Especially, the things that we've been covering. Spokespeople for the Supreme Court and Crow did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment on this investigation. In a statement to ProPublica, Crow said that the hospitality we have extended to Thomas's over years, no different from the hospitality we extended to many of our dear friends. Nah, bro. Nah, fuck that. Sorry, I don't really buy that. Thomas and his wife, Ginny Thomas, have never asked for any of the gifts, nor the... No, dude. Bro, really? That's what we're gonna go with? That's what he never asked for any of the gifts, so technically... Nah, dude, that's not how this works. The Crows have made projects to celebrate for any of the contributions the Crows have made to projects celebrating the justice's life and legacy, the mega donor said. Crow added that he and his wife have never asked about a pending or lower court case, and Justice Thomas has never discussed one, and we have never sought to influence Justice Thomas on any legal or political issues. Press X to doubt, because the transaction is implicit, right? I make sure that you have like super resorts and 62-foot yachts, and you then remember me, and it just kind of happens to be that you rule in my favor. I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just saying that you keep getting these resorts, and it just happens to be that you rule in my favor. I'm just saying. Right, implicit, exactly. No, he can't technically ask for favors. It's implicit. They manifest themselves. Ha, sickle me pink. Love that username. 20 years of free trips? What's free? It's not. It's not free. There's an implicit kind of relationship here. Anything can be asked behind a closed door. That's also true. Who's to say that, in private where nobody could see or hear, that other deals went down? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, even if that never happened, it's kind of like, it's kind of implicit, right? I mean, no shit. It's incredibly corrupt. 20 years? Oh, yeah, 20 years of this, no less. Also, demanding documentation or evidence of implicit transaction is lib shit. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of implicit, right? Like it's kind of how it works. If like a mega super billionaire just happens to keep inviting a justice from the Supreme Court, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Would have you been invited if he wasn't the SCOTUS? No shot. No shot. He has given more than 10 million in publicly disclosed political donations. Yeah, just because they didn't write it down or take selfies of themselves doing it doesn't mean it's not happening. Correct. publicly disclose political donations and unknown amounts to groups that aren't required to reveal their donors. Thomas typically spends about a week each summer at Topridge, Crow's private lake resort. Damn, dude, a week? Nice. In the Adirondacks, the flight records show he has used Crow's plane numerous times. Damn, dude. Nice. What a great guy. What a good friend. 2019, shortly, I'm sure. What a great friend that he just lets him do all this stuff for free. You know, just as friends. You know, friendsies. The first place I heard that argument was in a particular lib streamer who's now in Ukraine's chat. Oof. Sheesh. According to the news outlet, in 2019, shortly after the court shared his final opinion of the term, Clarence and Ginny Thomas took off on Crow's private jet for a 9-day vacation in Indonesia aboard the donor's yacht, a trip that cost more than $500,000. Damn. What a great guy, dude. I need friends like this who yeah, clearly nothing expected of him. Yep. The report also cited showing that Thomas had been at Topridge at the same time as major GOP donors, corporate executives, and a leader of the Conservative American Enterprise Institute during a July 2017 trip. Again, I'm pretty sure that this is all just another big coincidence. I'm sure that these were all just like a very happy coincidence, and all of these friends were just, you know, given this for free. Lurking and paying bills. Just noticed the electric bill went down. Nice. That's good. No, what happened was that FDR attempted to put a Band-Aid on something that was that we needed to do much more. A painting hanging inside the lakeside resort shows Thomas and Crow smoking cigars and chatting with conservative figures. The report said they include Leonardo Leo, an influential Federalist Society leader credited with helping President Trump pick his judicial nominations and shift federal courts to the right. Again, I'm pretty sure that no coincidence. I'm pretty sure this was all just coincidence. Yeah, he sent labor and capital to their corners for a while. Exactly. Crow contended in his statement that he was unaware of any of our friends ever lobbying or seeking to influence Justice Thomas on any case. Nah, dude. I did it happen? I don't know. I can't remember. I can't recall if any impropriety happened here. You know, Jesus, come on. Supreme Court justices are constrained by fewer ethical restrictions and lower rungs of judiciary. Some groups have called to implement a code of ethics for the higher court. This is wild. This is wild that this is even a thing. Like, all the other courts have, like, very strict, right the first time, Freud, true. This is wild that the lower courts have actual code of ethics and have actually pretty strict, like, ways that they can operate. But the Supreme Court seems to not have that. But justices still submit financial disclosures, and experts say they are required to disclose all gifts valued more than $415, while there are exceptions to that requirement. Transportation is not one of them. If Justice Thomas received a free travel on private planes, yachts, failure to report this gift as a violation of disclosure law, said Kedrick Payne, a senior ethics director of the Campaign Legal Center, told the outlet. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Dick Durbin later Thursday called for an enforceable code of conduct and the Supreme Court justice as he slammed Thomas over reported secret trips. The highest court in the land shouldn't have the lowest ethical standards. True, they don't have any standards. They're not bound by any of this. This behavior is simply inconsistent with the ethical standards the American people expect of any public servant, let alone a justice in the Supreme Court. Good memes. Good memes when the 9 wizards, the 9 magical law wizards can take epic resorts and trips, week-long resorts. But of course, no conflict of interest, no impropriety going on. Epic resorts and plane flights of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Trips on 162-foot super yachts. But yeah, no conflict of interest here whatsoever. Magical trips, exactly. Yep, exactly. It's all like a it's all like a really long-winded way to say, like, yeah, you're exactly correct. Like, none of this is like, oh, you have to, in like this like kind of cartoonish like way of like, oh, I'm gonna give you like free trips if you make sure you rule my way. No, all this is like exactly correct. Exactly as you mentioned, it's implicit. Like, it just kind of happens because of the nature of this system that we have. Anyways, nice, cool. The Supreme Court essentially is like incredibly illegitimate. And the fact that we have like corruption of the highest order like this is just wild, and like no accountability whatsoever. Yeah, because it's not I don't want to say it's not like quantifiable, but it's hard. It's just kind of something that like we kind of understand, just like deductively, because of how like society works and like the type of system that we're under, kind of encourages this behavior, and it just kind of all just works like this. But innately, yes, innately is the word. Okay, that might be a better word. Yeah. So what will happen to Clarence Thomas? Nothing, probably. Nothing. Yeah. And what happened to Clarence Thomas for that, SV Harkin? Nothing. Right, James. It's exactly that. It's just like implicit kind of deal where like, you just happen to be around this guy that's super rich, and he happens to be one of the major supporters of the organization that happens to be the organization that gave you the position that you were in, like the Federalist Society. I mean, like, come on. Yeah. I feel like TV dramas try to portray this, doing better, worse jobs depending on the writing. Time to file taxes, yikes. Federalist Society picks the proven sellouts to sit on the court. Yeah, of course. It's super fascinating, happens at every stage of life, all communities, all levels of socioeconomic status. Just that the one dimensions in New York have much bigger ramifications for society than, say, people will go out to church and help each other and get there. Yeah, but that's kind of like collective like power, right? Like that's the kind of like that's it, using that in a positive way, right? Like if you get like this kind of like society that, by design or by nature says, all right, listen, we got to get together. An example would be like unions, right? Who get together. That's different. Versus like someone who's unilaterally benefiting from this, and like you said, has bigger ramifications for everybody else. One person. All right, folks. It is about to be way past my time. I need to go eat dinner. Whew. Folks, if you enjoy the content and you like just hanging out here, please make sure you hit the follow button. It really does help us out. You get 6 free emotes, and if you want to go even further beyond and want to help us out, head on over to the YouTube channel. Hit the big red subscribe button. It really does help us out. Spread the word far and wide. We're here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If government can be bought on branches of government are unethical, yeah, that's the problem, among other things. Happy I caught you. Enjoy your meal. Thank you. I appreciate that. Usually social capital is measured in a positive way, usually associated with healthy community, democracy, but there's a dark side to it from stark inequality because it's not often spoken about, but the people don't realize how wide the gaps are. Yeah, and like this is perpetuated and exacerbated because like capitalism is just kind of allowed to continue to operate in this manner, so this creates that environment. It's capitalism has decided, capitalism allowed to continue in this manner has basically laid the foundations for this for a while. I mean, this is just kind of par for the course, and we just kind of accept it. It is, we just like, well, it is what it is. No, but who knows? As I was saying, folks, thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate that. If you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to do the social media stuff. We'll be back on Monday or maybe Sunday, actually. We will get back to you on that. Hang tight on the Discord. Because we may make an announcement depending on what's going on. Capitalism works as intended, and the material conditions due to creates this corruption. Yes, thank you. That's probably a better, a more succinct way of saying what I wanted to say. Yeah, so join the Discord. You can get more notifications there. So if something happens on Sunday, if we try to ramp that Sunday stream back, we'll post more updates there. If not, it's cool. You can join the Discord at any time the stream goes or whatever, or any updates, we'll let you know there, or the Twitter. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate all the support. You guys are what makes this channel grow. Thank you guys so much. See ya! Thank you, Michael Hasser. Appreciate it. Thank you, Heat. I appreciate it. Thank you. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.